Hey guys, I am Torchwood Boy and I have just seen Star Wars The Force Awakens. This is my spoiler-filled review. Star Wars The Force Awakens, a epic space opera in space, obviously. This film is perhaps my favourite Star Wars film, but I obviously have to take into consideration that I only saw it a couple of hours ago and it may still not be as good as Empire Strikes Back for me. However, apart from that, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The basic summary I can give you is that we meet all these new interesting characters. That's right, all the new characters are actually good. When's that ever happened before? Oh yeah, never. This film is perhaps one of the films where I went into it expecting one thing. I expected it to be, quite honestly, a journey about how Finn, a stormtrooper, becomes a Jedi. That was my utter sort of total thought process going into this film. Coming out of it, I was like, so Rey's our Jedi. Okay, I honestly, I didn't see that coming. I didn't really know whether Daisy Ridley was the lead or not. I had heard rumours she was, but they kept everything so tight under the wraps. You didn't know whether it was Finn who was in the lead, or Rey, or anyone. And so I think it's such a sort of great moment when you see Rey, you know, feel the Luke Skywalker lightsaber, Anakin lightsaber, down in the dungeon, and she goes and follows it. That is perhaps one of the best moments in the film, but I will come to my top 5 moments in a little bit. The biggest thing that obviously we'll be talking about is Han Solo's apparent demise. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going, he's not dead, he's not dead. I'm like, he was stabbed in the chest, then fell off a reactor core into a planet that was exploding. I'm gonna struggle to see how he's getting out of that one. I think everyone in the cinema totally gasped when that happened. I know I looked at my friend and we were both like, what's going on? I think the biggest gasp came out when we realised that Kylo Ren was actually Han and Leia's son. So it wasn't their daughter. Was their son, and it was very sort of like, oh, it's suddenly a lot more clear as to what's happened here, and they went on about how Ren destroyed basically everything Luke had built up from the ashes at that point. And Luke had vanished. That was the first thing. When the Star Wars credits started to go, the beginning, I was like, shivers, and he was like, this is the first time, because I was only like 10 when The Revenge of the Sith came out, so this is the first time I've ever seen a Star Wars in the theatre, and I was like, oh, this is just amazing. So, anyway, my top 5 characters. Coming in at number 5, I have to give it to Chewbacca. Chewbacca, somehow Peter Mayhew plays him so well, and I'm so glad he's back, and probably my favourite scene is when he got shot and Finn was trying to bandage him up, and he was like, no, get off me, and then Finn was like, he's trying to kill me 6 times, and Chewbacca grabbed him and he's like, and that's okay. I love Chewie, and I also love the bit where when Han died, he went on like a warpath, he started blowing up things, and then he blew up the base and he was like, go Chewie. And also I love the bit where he rescued them at the end. In at number 4 is BB-8. Wow, I never ever thought a droid could do that to me. What an amazing droid. Seriously, I absolutely loved BB-8, and it's so much emotion, so much feeling. I was like, how is this droid doing it? Especially when it saw Poe and it ran to him. I was like, oh, but it didn't run. It hasn't got legs. If it did have legs, it would have run. You get what I mean? In at number 3, speaking of Poe, is Poe. Poe was an awesome addition. I loved Poe. I loved his chemistry with Finn, who, yes, don't worry, he is coming up in this list. I loved everything about Poe. I just wish we'd seen more of him, but that's what the next episodes are for. I was going to say videos then, and they're not videos. No. I'm going to try and do this all in one take. Yes, because why not? It's going to be a one-take review. Coming up in second place is obviously Finn. Finn was an amazing character. Him and Daisy Ridley have so much chemistry on screen. I was literally sat there going, OTP, OTP. I ship it already. I said to my friend in the car on the way home, listen, I know we've just seen one movie and it usually takes about 3 movies to get into an OTP, but I ship this couple so bad. They have got so much wicked chemistry. But do you know who else Finn has so much wicked chemistry with? And I'm sure some of you noticed it too. Poe. Seriously, when they ran at each other and hugged each other, I was like, right, you two just met each other, like, on a stormtrooper base. I mean, I know he saved your life and everything, but, you know, come on, guys. Take it down a notch, you know? We don't need to see that. I'm joking. But obviously, you know, there is a lot of chemistry between those 2 actors as well, and it is brilliant to see them all play off, and it is excellent. In at number 1 is a tie. obviously, I can't choose between Han Solo and Rey. That would be cruel. Han Solo did an amazing job. It actually felt like Harrison Ford had turned up to work and decided to play a character for once instead of just playing Harrison Ford. It was like Han Solo had aged 30 years. That was how he played it, and that was brilliant. It was excellent. My favourite Han Solo scene, I think, was probably at the beginning when he walks in. He's like, "Where's the pilot?" And she's like, "She's the pilot." Like, "You're the pilot." But he had so many great scenes, and it was so awesome. I also loved how he kept using Chewie's bowcaster and was like, "Damn, this thing's good." That was pretty much the fun bit of Han. But obviously, something I will come to in a little bit. His demise, and another thing I picked up on about another character that some people might not have got, so I can't wait to explain that and hopefully shed some light on that scene. Coming in at tied number 1 again is Rey. Rey, wow, what a character. Easily, probably my favourite character of the entire Star Wars franchise so far. I'm a sucker for strong female characters, and she is the definition of a strong female character from the go. When Finn's grabbing her hand and she's like, "Get off me, I know how to run without someone holding my hand." And then I think another thing highlighting the chemistry is when he tries to stand on her head or puts her hand on her, she's like, "Get off." It's so, and the bit where they run out, I'm sorry, I'm reliving all my favourite moments, I love it. I also love how she's on the ball with like engineer stuff, and you know, when she opens the fuses and then she's like, wrong fuses, and then the beasts get out. Brilliant scene also. And then finally, obviously, the final fight. In fact, no, before that, in fact, I'll come to the moments in a bit, but Rey, what an awesome character. I have 2 honourable mentions. Number 1 is Kylo Ren, because, well, what a villain, you know. Kind of already want you to die, but no, that's because you shoved a lightsaber through Han Solo's chest. But whatever. And at number 2, or not number 2, but I suppose tied honourable mention, Leia Organa. What an awesome badass she is, and I love now that she is now General Leia Organa instead of Princess, because why the hell not? Awesome, awesome, awesome characters. Coming up next are my top 5 moments. So, in at number 5, my top 5th moment has to be quite a small scene. Maybe not one that everyone expects me to choose, but it's Lord Snoke, and I think it's Snoke, or is it Snook? I can't remember, I'm very sorry. And Kylo Ren, when they're discussing Rey, and you know, he's like, "Bring her to me." Can I just say, even though Andy Serkis was in this film for about 3 seconds, loved him. I cannot wait to see Lord Snoke. And also, I'm pretty sure that hologram is actually just making him look big, and he's actually regular size. In fact, I would piss myself if it was about this big. That would be funny. In at number 4, my 4th top scene has got to be the Leia Han reunion. An excellent, excellent scene. Just the way he's like, "You changed your hair," and she's like, "You didn't change your jacket." And you know, they just bounce off each other, and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford have such amazing chemistry that it works so perfectly. Loved it. In at number 3, I think I have to give it to the Rey Stormtrooper scene when she's locked into the thing, into like the device that Poe's in at the beginning, and she's like, "You will remove my thing," and he's like, "Well, no, I will tighten them though if you don't shut your mouth." And she's like, concentrate. And you see, and you sort of like, you feel the force. It's strange. And then she opens her eyes, and she does that a lot, Daisy Ridley, where she opens her eyes and you see that inner fire in her, and you're like, "Whoa, okay, this chick's a badass. Don't mess with her." And then she's like, "You will undo my," and then she's like, "Oh, leave your gun too." And he's like, "Yes, I'll drop my gun," and he just walks out. He's like, awesome. In at number 2, something a lot of you probably thought would be at number 1, but no, in at number 2 is Han Solo's death scene. What everyone in the cinema went when he just shoved the lightsaber through his chest. Chewie goes mad, Rey goes mad, Finn goes mad, they all start shooting. But that scene, you think that Ben is going to become, or Kylo, whatever you want to call him, is going to become the, you know, I almost went, oh, maybe this is like a bit of a character redemption, maybe him and Rey will go and finally live together, and you know, thinking about it now, it wouldn't have made sense to have Finn and Poe in it then, because you know, it seems like a lot of main characters, but who are good. But I was like, but you've got Snoop, who's the bad guy, and you've got that Imperial officer whose name I didn't bother to get. He's just an obnoxious twat. But then he just shoves the lightsaber, and you're like, no, oh God, why? And you realise he was stalling for time. He was stalling for time. How is that even fair? He was waiting for the sun to go out, and then he shoved it out, and then he fell, and then the planet blew up. But I just want to come on to one scene in particular there that not many people might not have got. Now, when Han dies, Leia feels it. And a lot of people going, oh, she felt a love, and I was like, no, hang on a minute, no. Did you not hear the trailer? my father had it, I have it, my sister has it. Leia is Force sensitive. She used the Force to sense that Han was in trouble and that he had died. That's how she knew. It was the Force. And I hope in the future, I have this weird vision that we'll see Leia like under attack, or the base will come under attack or something, and she'll have to defend it, and she'll use a Force push. Just something small, but just to show that she's still with the Force, and she's still in tune. She might even use a lightsaber. That would be friggin' cool. Because we don't know what choice of weapon Leia uses anymore. She didn't have any guns on it when she was the general, but she didn't need to because she was on a planet that, you know, the only chance of being invaded was by a giant ray of light that was going to blow them up. In at number 1, my favourite moment has got to be the Kylo Ren v Finn and Rey scene. Finn does an amazing job, I mean not as good as Rey, but he does an amazing job to say he is not Force sensitive at all. What I loved about his fight scene was how aggressive and how raw it was, and he got in a good hit as well before Ren, it's hard with all these names, before Ren fucked him up. Rey came in, and you don't expect it because Kylo's like, I've got the lightsaber, and you think, oh, maybe the lightsaber doesn't want to come to you, and then it just flies past him, almost hits him in the face, which would have been an amazing moment if you just got like that. That would have been, and just ended the fight there. That would have been so cool. Obviously, it wouldn't have been cool, but you know what I mean. And then Rey grabs the lightsaber and she's like, game on, motherfucker. And then she fights for a bit, and she's not doing too well. I mean, you can see that she's doing okay. He's injured, so she has, you know, that on her side, but he's obviously still using the Force, and she's just wielding it blind. And then he locks in and he says something like, I can teach you how to use the Force, and she's like, the Force. My one criticism about this scene, how long were they stood there? Like, and she's like got her eyes closed, and he's like looking, I'm like, pull the lightsaber away, duck, and just cut her in half or something. That's what you do, wouldn't it? You wouldn't just stand there. However, I think it was meant to be showing like they were pushing at each other, and he was like unable to move. And I suppose, you know, it's a beam of light, you don't want to like mess up and her cut you in half. So I get that. An amazing scene, and then Daisy Ridley does it again when she opens her eyes and that fire's there, and you think, oh hell boy, you better run, because he should have run, because then she cut his face in half. Like literally, she cut him down his face. She did a Tyrion Lannister on him. She was like, get down, and I think she would have finished the job if the planet hadn't blown in half in Richard Park. And then Chewie came and saved her, which was awesome. Any negatives? I have a couple of negatives. But not many at all. Lupita Nyong, while did an amazing role as the little alien, you know, she's an Academy Award-winning actress. You could have given her a bit more. However, the role wasn't stupid or silly, so I'm kind of pleased with that. So it's not really negative, but you know, maybe she'll progress in future films, but I would have liked to have seen her a little bit more. However, for the faction of the story she was in, it made sense to not make that any bigger. And my other negative, this one is just like the smallest. I had to find something. I can't just leave a review with no negative unless I'm reviewing Inside Out, because that's perfect. If I had to give it one negative, and this is like my main negative, how long were were Luke and freaking Rey staring at each other for? I'm like, just take the fucking lightsaber. Just take it. Yeah. And just stare at her deep into us. Unless it's like Force communication, I don't know, but I think he was just stood there like, I'm so high right now. And she's like, oh my god, he's a fucking smackhead. I'm just withdrawing very slowly. And he's like, give me the letter. She's like, no. I like the panning shot at the end though, but it just seemed to go on for so long. I was like, well, someone said something. This is just awful. But not really a negative. I'm just nitpicking to try and find negatives. An excellent film, and the funniest moment for me has to be where Chewbacca and Han Solo are in the corridor with the two factions who are after him, and he comes up with some of the best one-liners, and Chewbacca's facial expressions kill it every time. Like, he's like rolling his eyes. It's brilliant. Peter Mayhew and Harrison Ford do an amazing job, and I am going to miss Harrison Ford. Maybe I'll come back as a Force ghost at some point, but you never know. However, death is part of Star Wars, and I do like the fact that they had the guts to kill off one of the main characters. Thank you for watching. Out of 10, I'm giving this. Now, please note I don't do decibels, so I am giving this a 9 out of 10. That is a pretty high score for me. I am a low scorer. I am very tough on things, so to give something a 9 out of 10, probably my only 9 out of 10 of the whole movies this year. I would say the closest came to Jurassic World, which was a 7 out of 10. Yes. Thank you for watching, guys. Or maybe Ant-Man, which was a 7 out of 10 as well, yeah. Thank you for watching very much, guys. I will see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this review. Come back for a review Sunday next week where we will be reviewing the Doctor Who Christmas special. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Bye. Down one take. Get in. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, he's still here. Oh. Dun 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 dun.